Hi, my name is Sammy Hentz, and I'm here to talk to you about my favorite thing about personality psychology, B.F. Skinner and his reinforcement theory. Skinner was a behavioral psychologist who argued that psychologists should focus on the facts and restrict their research to only what can be seen, manipulated, and measured in a lab. Skinner did not have a specific personality theory, and in explaining personality, he did not reference internal subjective states. He did not believe that unconscious influences, defense mechanisms, and other invisible driving forces have a place in scientific psychology. Skinner does not deny the existence of these internal forces, but he does not need to look inside a person in order to explain their behavior. Because of this, he refers to human beings as empty organisms. Another way he was different from other psychologists is his choice of experimental subjects. Although his ideas about behavior are applied to people, the research for his behavioral approach used rats and pigeons. Skinner's central idea is that behavior can be controlled by its consequences. To put it simply, behavior is controlled by what follows that behavior. He distinguished two types, respondent and operant. Respondent behavior involves a response made to or elicited by a specific stimulus. For example, a reflexive action such as closing your eye when it is poked is an automatic involuntary respondent behavior. The stimulus is applied, a poke on the eyeball, and the response occurs, closing the eyelid. Operant behavior can be defined as behavior emitted spontaneously or voluntarily that operates on the environment to change it. Operant conditioning is the procedure by which a change in the consequences of a response will affect the rate at which the response occurs. In short, specific consequences are associated with the voluntary behavior. Skinner believed that most human and animal behavior is learned through this type of conditioning. The Skinner box is an operant conditioning apparatus that Skinner developed in order to explain operant behavior. The box contains a lever inside that causes food pellets to drop into the box when it is pushed down. A rat was placed in the Skinner box where it walks around checking out and feeling the environment. Eventually, the rat figures out to depress the lever bar, and the food pellet drops into the box. The rat's behavior changes due to the environment changing, with the addition of the food in the box. The food pellets are reinforcing the behavior of depressing the lever. In this example, the food is the reinforcer, and depressing the bar is the behavior. There are many applications of operant conditioning, and its techniques are often used in the workplace, schools, clinical settings, and even in homes. With this, specifically, behavior modification is used. Behavior modification is a form of therapy that applies Skinner's principles of reinforcement in order to accomplish desired behavioral changes. These examples show spanking a child as punishment or rewarding an employee for doing great work. One application of behavior modification is a token economy. This is a technique in which tokens, which can be exchanged for valued objects or privileges, are awarded for desirable behaviors. The following video shows an example of a token economy at home.
Daughter, every time you clean something in your room, I'll give you a quarter.
Okay.
Thanks. Thanks. Now I'll go exchange these for an ice cream cone.
Another form of behavior modification is punishment. This involves the application of an aversive stimulus following a response in an effort to decrease the likelihood that that response will occur. Skinner states that the issue with punishment is that it works immediately, but it does not give long-term results. The following video gives an example of punishment at home.
Good night. Stay off your phone. It's time to go to bed.
Good night, Mom.
Hey, I told you to stay off your phone.
Positive reinforcement is a behavioral modification in which desirable behavior is praised and rewarded. This type of reinforcement is administered for good behaviors and is much more effective than punishment. The following video shows an example of positive reinforcement.
Look, Mom, I got an A on my spelling test.
Wow, great job. You're so smart. Here's some cookies.
Thanks.
You're the best.
Negative reinforcement is another type of behavior modification. This involves the strengthening of a response by the removal of an aversive stimulus. A negative reinforcer is an aversive or noxious stimulus, the removal of which is rewarding. The following video shows an example of negative reinforcement.
Sammy, go make your bed.
I will later.
Come on, we have people coming over in like 5 minutes. Make your bed.
I'll do it in a minute.
Sammy, come on, go make your bed.
Fine, fine. Whatever will stop you from nagging.